Okay, guys, welcome to the first part of our beginner Eidolon hunting series, updated for the Focus 3.0 rework. In this first part, we're going to be looking at the DPS role because it's probably the most complicated role, at least at this level. Yeah, and then we're going to do 3 more videos on Trinity, Harrow, and Volt, respectively, to make sure we can showcase all the different things that each role needs to do, as well as all the required gear that each role needs if necessary. More information regarding these guides can be found in the Eidolon wiki, so if anything is unclear, make sure to check that wiki out. And if you still have questions afterwards, you can always join our Discord, a link to which you can also find in the wiki, or just comment on the video or DM me directly on Discord. So yeah, I think that's about it. So let's hop into the run and see what we have to do exactly as a DPS player in a somewhat organized format. So first we have to re-enter gate after the last run, and then we load in. And as soon as gate opens, we jump out, we cast our speed and start the QC process. If you don't know what a QC or a quick charge is, then I highly recommend checking out the QC guide in the wiki, because it's like slightly more complicated and it would take too much time to talk about it right here. After the QC, we fly to the terror list, we buff ourselves, we armor strip it a bit, we stack some combo, mostly to proc our arcanes, and then we spawn some wisps. And then we shoot the limb as soon as the Eidolon is vulnerable. In this case, the VS actually took the limb, so we didn't even have to shoot, but it's always good to shoot as a backup, even if the plan is to let the VS take the limb. The most important part in Eidolon hunting is consistency, and if you always have a backup for most things, then you'll almost never have issues. So yeah, now we're just spawning wisps in between the limb breaks and stacking some combo. For Rubico, which is what I'm using, I would recommend at least a combo multiplier of 3, ideally 3.5. But yeah, you can probably do it with 2.5 as well. It's just not going to be quite as consistent, especially if you don't have a ribbon. But yeah, you can see combo stack, some Uniru wisps, more combo stack, and then we break the last limb. And after the last limb, the Terrorless will start spawning Vombalists, so we take out our beam weapon. I like to use the Tenet Cyclone personally, but anything works. Kuvanukor, Tenet Cyclone, Gaze, Atomos, whatever else there is. And now we just kind of fly around and see if we can find some bombs to drop into the lures of our lure handler, because our lures are already full. I'm a bit blind right now, so for some reason I can only find this one bomb, even though there was 2 more to my left. But during the run I did not actually see those. So I'm just waiting for my lure handler to bring his lures back so I can drop the charge in. And then we just help him a bit by cracking the bombs below, some with the Cyclone, and then swap to our Rubico to get ready for the cap shot. And as soon as it's vulnerable, we just shoot, go into our Arcwing, and fly to the shrine. I always like to land on this back part of the shrine here, this part, and then I only move from here when my lures actually teleport. So you can see right now, you can see the lure icons on the top screen. My lures have teleported, so now I can move to the front, go into Arcwing, and they kind of float towards me. And then I just suck up the loot, and now they're pretty much stationary, even when I'm on the shrine, and they will never interrupt me. So now we're starting to put our shards in. Host always puts in first in a 4-man. In duo or 3-man runs, there might be some different strats, but in a 4-man, host always puts first. And then we just fly to wherever the Eidolon spawns, in this case it's long, and shoot as soon as we can see the limb. Then we do something very important, which is parking the loot lure, which is the one that actually connects to the first limb. If this is not your lure, but one of the lures from the lure handler, then he needs to park his lure, so we can avoid teleports. And once that is done, the lure handler will leave, and we will just start rotating through the limbs. And it's pretty much the same as Terrorless. We spawn wisps and we stack combo. Because some people seem to have issues spawning wisps, all you pretty much have to do is just shoot the wisps at the ground between his feet, So you can see where I'm aiming here. It's just kind of that his left heel that's like partly in the ground is where I'm aiming at. And that spawns wisps very consistently. So yeah, and now we're just shooting glimpse. As you can see, I'm timing my shots here based off the proper shots of my VS players. That's not something you have to do. It's just a small optimization that you'll do almost automatically eventually. Just out of habit, once you start hunting enough. Kind of becomes second nature. And yeah, spawn the wisps. Try not to get mag proc too much, because the effect is annoying. And shoot the last limb. Now it's pretty much the same thing as Terrorist again. We used Cyclone again to crack the bombs. We're only lacking like 1 or 2. You see the last lure just charged. So now, from now on, we're pretty much chilling regarding to lures. And all we have to do now is just wait out the healing phase and capshot him. And then we fly back to Shrine and repeat the same just the same steps for our Hydralist. So yeah, if usually your VS Vault gives you a shield, he didn't here, so I'll just put my own. Not a big deal either way. It's just one shield. Yeah. You can stack some combo in between. You see I'm already at 4.0, so it's not really needed to stack any further. Even 3.5, as I said, is already plenty. And then we just capshot him and do the same thing again. Fly to the back of the shrine. Wait till this lure teleports and then go towards the shrine. And you can, as you can see, it kind of does some weird pathing here, but it doesn't really matter. We still get the loot in suck range, so we just suck the loot up. Buff ourselves with Shock Trooper, Eclipse and Speed, very important, and then put our shard in first, a double jump to avoid the unable to enter into Arcwing thing, because you're blocked by the other players, and then fly towards it, whichever spawns it spawns at, in this case close left. And yeah, always armor strip the Eidolon, spawn some wisps, the usual stuff. Stack some combo, rebuff yourself, spawn some more wisps. And now we're just waiting, pretty much. We're just waiting out the limbs. Nothing much is happening. Just spawning wisps and shooting limbs. It's very, very easy. There's not much to do at this point. The most important parts are usually done during the Terrorist, and some parts are done during the Gargantualist, and Hydra is just... it's basically just going through the motions at that point. So yeah. With this group setup as well, you're pretty much invincible. As you can see, my HP, or not even my shield, really moves. I have Adaptation equipped, I have a Trinity that blesses, I have a Harrow that invulns, and I obviously have the Yonairu Stone Skin passive thing that gives you 200% more armor. All of that makes you pretty much invulnerable. And then if your VS players are in Void mode, they heal you with Repair on top of that. But I mean, it's not even needed in that case, because obviously my HP isn't even getting touched, only my shields. Oh, and you have Worm on top as well, so Worm heals you even more. So now we're just making sure which loot is the loot lure, or which lure is the loot lure rather. And in this case, our lure handler will actually teleport the lures to the gate. This can be done by either the DPS or the lure handler, it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of preference. And yeah, same thing again, we're just waiting for him to stand up. We give ourselves a shield. We're just waiting for cap shotting. He is very low in this case because no bombs spawned underneath him. But Rubico has no issues cap shotting any Eidolon or really anything. Either way. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we just suck up our loot. We place the mech at the gate to open it, so we can just fly straight in. And now we're pretty much at the same point where we were at the beginning of the recording, and now we just repeat the whole thing again for 6 more times, or 5 more times, and then you have a 6x3. So yeah, if you have any more questions, as I said, either comment below the video, join the Discord, DM me on Discord, or check out the wiki. And yeah, good luck in your hunts.